Meet Zoey Klein, the unmarried mom whose baby shocker unveils a surprising Bill Klein connection. Hello friends, I am Elena, welcome to my channel. For the latest news update, please subscribe the channel and press the bell icon. The world of celebrity families often thrives on inspiration, courage, and the bonds that unite people against the odds. But sometimes, even the most admired households find themselves thrust into the spotlight for reasons no one could have predicted. Such is the case with Zoey Klein, the beloved daughter of Bill Klein and Dr. Jen Arnold from The Little Couple. Known for her sweet demeanor, sharp intelligence, and the unwavering love of her adoptive family, Zoey grew up in front of millions who watched the journey of the Klein family unfold. Now, as a young woman, Zoey's latest chapter has left fans stunned and curious. She has become an unmarried mom, and the story behind her baby has revealed a connection that loops back in a surprising way to none other than her father, Bill Klein. For years, Zoey represented the picture of resilience. Adopted from India as a little girl, she was welcomed into the Klein household with open arms. Bill and Jen's journey to parenthood was filled with obstacles, but when Zoey joined their family, it felt like destiny had aligned. Viewers watched as Zoey adjusted to her new life, found joy with her brother Will, and blossomed under the care of her parents. Through episodes of school achievements, birthday celebrations, and family adventures, Zoey was cherished not just by her parents but by fans who felt invested in her journey. She was the daughter everyone rooted for, the little girl who had overcome such a difficult start to life and found a loving home. But as with all children who grow up in the public eye, life behind the cameras is often far more complicated than what viewers see. Zoey entered her teenage years with a quiet confidence, though she was also navigating the pressures of identity, cultural heritage, and the weight of her family's fame. Fans often wondered how the young girl would find her path as an adult. What few expected, however, was that Zoey's adulthood would begin with a revelation that both shocked and fascinated the public. Zoey Klein became a mother before marriage. The announcement came not from tabloids or a reality show episode, but from Zoey herself. With a heartfelt statement shared online, Zoey revealed that she had welcomed a baby into the world. The tone of her message was both tender and unapologetic. She spoke of her child as a blessing, of her deep love as a mother, and of her determination to create a stable, nurturing environment. Yet it wasn't just the fact that Zoey had become a mother unmarried that caught the attention of fans, it was the story of how her journey to motherhood intersected in an unexpected way with the life of her father, Bill Klein. Bill has always been known as the witty, thoughtful, and devoted father who balanced humor with responsibility. His role as Zoey's protector and guide was evident throughout the family's time on television. But when Zoey shared her baby news, she also unveiled a connection to Bill that went far beyond the father-daughter relationship fans already knew. Zoey explained that while becoming a mother was a surprise, it was also an experience shaped by wisdom and support that had been indirectly influenced by her father's own life lessons and hidden experiences. The surprising connection emerged when Zoey shared the personal struggles she had faced during her pregnancy. As a young, unmarried woman navigating an unexpected responsibility, she often turned to the guidance of stories Bill had shared about his own challenges as a young adult. Though Bill's life was vastly different, his tales of resilience, perseverance, and learning from mistakes gave Zoey the courage to face her circumstances head-on. More than that, it became clear that Bill himself had once faced life-altering situations that mirrored the crossroads Zoey now stood at. In her message, Zoey hinted at the fact that Bill, too, had once been forced to make a choice that shaped his life forever. While details were not laid bare in black and white, Zoey spoke about how her father's honesty about past struggles, including youthful decisions, hardships, and his journey to responsibility, had given her the clarity to embrace motherhood rather than fear it. This revelation stunned fans not because Bill had lived a colorful youth, but because Zoey had chosen to tie her story as a new mother directly to his example. In doing so, Zoey not only embraced her baby with pride but also reframed her unmarried motherhood as part of a larger family legacy of resilience. The connection to Bill was not about scandal but about strength. She spoke about how Bill's words had guided her during moments of doubt, reminding her that mistakes never define a person but how they rise above them does. The shocker wasn't that Zoey had a child unmarried, it was that she had built her path into motherhood with the wisdom and compassion instilled in her by her father's own journey. For Bill and Jen, the revelation brought waves of emotion. As parents, they were initially stunned, but soon they stepped into the roles that had always defined them: protectors, guides, and unconditional supporters. Bill, particularly, felt the weight of the connection Zoey had drawn between their lives. To hear his daughter speak of him as a source of courage reaffirmed the bond they shared. Though the public may have been surprised, inside the Klein family, the baby's arrival was embraced with love. Fans quickly rallied around Zoey, admiring her bravery and maturity. While some critics raised eyebrows about her being an unmarried mom, the overwhelming response was one of support. Many pointed out that Zoey's life had always been one of triumphing against odds. From being adopted as a toddler from an orphanage in India to becoming a thriving, confident young woman in America, Zoey had repeatedly shown that she could face life's challenges with grace. Becoming a mother unmarried was simply another chapter in that same story of resilience. The baby itself became a symbol of renewal and continuity in the Klein family. Bill and Jen, now grandparents, embraced the role with enthusiasm. Will, Zoey's brother, was overjoyed to be an uncle, stepping into the role with the same humor and warmth that defined his personality. For Zoey, motherhood was no longer a solitary journey. It was a family affair where love surrounded her child from every direction. As Zoey began to share glimpses of her life as a mother, fans noticed a new kind of maturity in her. No longer just the sweet little girl from the little couple, she was now a woman standing on her own, shaped by the past but determined to build her own future. The surprising Bill Klein connection only deepened the narrative, reminding everyone that families are not defined by perfection but by the lessons passed down through generations. In truth, the story of Zoey Klein as an unmarried mom is less about shock and more about growth. It is about a young woman who chose to embrace her child despite societal expectations, about a father whose own life lessons became the foundation of his daughter's courage, and about a family that continues to evolve in the public eye with authenticity. The headline may scream baby shocker and surprising connection, but the real story lies in the way Zoey has turned an unexpected chapter into an empowering journey. She has proven that being an unmarried mom does not equate to failure but can instead reflect strength, determination, and love. The baby is not a scandal but a celebration of life, and the connection to Bill Klein is not one of controversy but of legacy. In the years to come, Zoey's story will likely continue to inspire others, especially young women navigating similar paths. She has shown that labels like unmarried do not define the quality of motherhood, and that the strength of a family lies not in adhering to traditional molds but in the love that sustains them. For Bill Klein, the surprising connection revealed by his daughter's journey has cemented his role not just as a father but as a mentor whose honesty about life's imperfections helped guide his daughter through hers. Ultimately, the Klein family's story has always been one of overcoming challenges and embracing life's unexpected turns. Zoey becoming an unmarried mom is simply another chapter in that ongoing narrative. And while fans may have been shocked at first, the real takeaway is clear: love, resilience, and family will always triumph over judgment. Bill Klein, well known from The Little Couple, has always been admired not only for his resilience in life but also for his entrepreneurial spirit. Among his many ventures, one that stood close to his heart was his boutique business. For years, the boutique wasn't just a store, it was a reflection of his creativity, dedication, and vision. Unfortunately, the recent news of Bill Klein's boutique closure has left many fans and loyal customers heartbroken. While no one was physically harmed in this journey, the emotional toll of seeing a cherished dream come to an end is something that resonates deeply. The boutique was never just about sales or fashion. It represented hope, independence, and the ability to create something meaningful despite life's challenges. Bill, along with his wife Jennifer Arnold, had always spoken about the importance of building something that stood for quality and passion. The boutique embodied those ideals, offering unique products that blended style with personal expression. Customers loved not only what they bought but also the story behind the brand. However, running a boutique in today's economic climate has been anything but easy. Rising costs, changing consumer habits, and the constant battle with online retail giants made the journey difficult. Bill poured his heart into keeping the business alive, trying different strategies, adjusting inventory, and even engaging with customers directly to understand their needs. Yet, despite his tireless dedication, the harsh reality of business forced him to make the painful decision to close its doors. What makes this closure even more touching is the way Bill handled it. Rather than focusing on failure, he emphasized gratitude. In heartfelt words shared with supporters, he explained that no one was injured, no tragedy beyond the closure itself had occurred, and that the most important takeaway was the relationships built along the way. He highlighted the staff who worked tirelessly, the customers who became family, and the lessons he would carry forward from this experience. Many fans found themselves moved by his honesty. In a world where setbacks are often hidden or glossed over, Bill chose to share his vulnerability openly. He reminded everyone that success isn't always measured in profits or longevity. Sometimes it's about the courage to try, the passion to keep going, and the dignity to let go when the time comes. His boutique may no longer stand, but the inspiration it provided will live on. The emotional weight of this closure lies in what the boutique represented. For many, it symbolized resilience. Bill has faced countless obstacles in life, from health struggles to personal challenges, and yet he has always managed to rise above. The boutique was another chapter in that journey, a bold statement that dreams are worth pursuing no matter how uncertain the outcome. Its closure is not just the end of a business. It's the closing of a chapter that touched many hearts. Supporters have flooded social media with messages of encouragement, sharing memories of their favorite purchases or experiences at the boutique. Some recalled the joy of buying gifts that carried sentimental meaning. Others spoke about how they admired Bill's willingness to put himself out there and build something unique in a competitive world. The overwhelming response has been one of love and support, proving that the boutique's impact extended far beyond financial success. Bill himself acknowledged the bittersweet emotions. He admitted that the closure was painful, yet he also expressed pride in what had been accomplished. He didn't see it as a defeat but rather as part of the larger story of his life, a story marked by perseverance, growth, and the courage to embrace change. For him, the boutique was never just about clothing or accessories. It was about creating a community, and in that sense it succeeded far more than numbers could ever show. One of the most striking aspects of this story is the reminder it gives us all: sometimes letting go is an act of strength. Holding on to something that no longer works can drain energy and spirit, but choosing to close a chapter with grace allows room for new beginnings. Bill's decision reflects not only his wisdom but also his deep understanding that life is about balance, knowing when to push forward and when to step back. The phrase "no one was injured" may seem simple, but it carries weight. It is a reassurance that, while the closure hurts emotionally, it has not caused irreparable harm. Businesses can come and go, but health, family, and personal growth remain far more important. Bill's ability to put the closure into perspective is a lesson for everyone who has faced disappointment. It reminds us that while we may lose certain dreams, we never lose the strength we gained from pursuing them. In the wake of the closure, Bill has hinted at focusing on new ventures. His entrepreneurial spirit is far from extinguished. Fans believe that just as he turned his boutique into a place of inspiration, he will channel his creativity into future projects that reflect his values and passion. The boutique's end is not the end of his journey. It is simply the space between one dream and the next. What makes this story truly touching is how relatable it is. Almost everyone has faced moments where a dream didn't unfold the way they hoped. Whether it's a business, a career, or a personal goal, the pain of closure is universal. Bill's openness about his boutique's end allows people to see themselves in his journey, and that connection makes the story deeply human. It is a reminder that even public figures face the same struggles as everyone else, and that vulnerability can be a source of strength. As the boutique closes, its legacy will not be forgotten. It stands as a testament to the power of courage, creativity, and authenticity. Bill Klein has shown that dreams are worth pursuing, even when the outcome is uncertain. He has shown that closure doesn't mean failure, and that sometimes the most beautiful part of the journey is the impact left on others. The story of Bill Klein's boutique is not about loss but about the heart. It is about daring to dream, cherishing the journey, and knowing that even when a door closes, the love and support that remain will always be stronger. For those who followed his boutique, the heartbreak is real, but so is the inspiration. And in the end, that is what makes this story one that will continue to touch hearts long after the boutique's doors have closed. The power of one voice can sometimes ignite a conversation that leads to meaningful transformation. Dr. Jennifer Arnold, widely recognized from The Little Couple and respected for her professional career as a neonatologist, has once again demonstrated how courage and advocacy can create ripples of change. This time, her fight is not about her personal health journey, not about her family's daily life under the public eye, but about the broader issue of respect, dignity, and how schools represent people with differences. Recently, a story began circulating about a school that had adopted a mascot described by some as a midget mascot. For years, students and alumni had cheered, rallied, and celebrated under this image without much thought about what it signified. But for Arnold, who lives with a rare type of dwarfism, the use of such a term and symbol cuts deep. To her, and to many in the disability and little people community, this wasn't just a quirky or outdated tradition, it was harmful, disrespectful, and something that should no longer have a place in education. Arnold's initial response was not one of anger but of concern. She recognized that most people who participated in these traditions likely did not intend malice. Instead, she saw the issue as one rooted in a lack of awareness. Still, ignorance cannot justify the continuation of derogatory practices. The word midget, once used casually in entertainment, advertising, and even sports, has long been condemned by advocacy groups as an offensive slur. For Arnold, hearing that children and teenagers were being raised to cheer for such a mascot was unacceptable. Her advocacy began, as it often does, by sharing her perspective. Arnold spoke openly about her experiences as a little person, describing the countless times she has been reduced to stereotypes, faced ridicule in public spaces, or been treated as less than human simply because of her stature. While she has learned to face such moments with resilience, she refuses to accept that the next generation should be taught to normalize such language. Schools are supposed to be places of learning, growth, and respect, she emphasized. When we elevate a harmful word or symbol as a mascot, we teach children that mockery is tradition, and that's not a lesson anyone needs. From there, the conversation expanded. Parents began to listen, students began to reflect, and community members started to ask questions about what their beloved mascot really represented. Some resisted the idea of change, arguing that it was just a word or harmless fun. But Arnold's words carried weight. She reminded the public that history is filled with examples of once accepted mascots, symbols, and language that, upon reflection, were recognized as offensive and ultimately retired. If we can move away from offensive caricatures of race, ethnicity, and culture, she asked, why shouldn't we do the same for people with disabilities? What made Arnold's advocacy particularly impactful was her ability to bridge personal narrative with broader education. She didn't just say the mascot was wrong, she explained why. She pointed out that children with dwarfism attending schools where such mascots exist are indirectly told that who they are is a joke, a cheer, or a symbol rather than a person deserving respect. That kind of message can damage self-esteem, foster bullying, and perpetuate harmful stereotypes. In her advocacy, Arnold also drew attention to the medical and social realities of dwarfism. She reminded the public that dwarfism is not a costume or character trait, it is a medical condition that brings with it real challenges, including chronic health issues, accessibility barriers, and societal prejudice. To reduce such a lived reality into a cartoonish mascot is, in her view, not only insensitive but dehumanizing. The response to her campaign began to grow. Disability advocacy groups stepped forward to echo her concerns. Educators and administrators, some of whom had never paused to consider the implications of their mascots, began reassessing their practices. Even students, once fiercely loyal to their school traditions, started using their voices to say that they wanted to be part of a culture of respect, not one of outdated ridicule. As Arnold continued to speak, she grounded her argument in the values schools claim to uphold: inclusivity, respect, and the preparation of young people for a diverse and interconnected world. Mascots should inspire pride, courage, and unity, she explained. They should never make a group of people feel smaller, mocked, or erased. She also reminded the public that change does not mean erasing history. Traditions can be honored without continuing harmful practices. She encouraged schools to engage students in reimagining mascots, giving them the opportunity to build new traditions that reflect today's values. This process, she argued, not only addresses the offensive element but also teaches young people about growth, adaptation, and the importance of listening to marginalized voices. Arnold's message resonated because it came not only from her personal experiences but also from her role as a mother. Raising two children, she often speaks about the importance of modeling kindness and respect. She wants her children to grow up in a world where their classmates are not conditioned to cheer for offensive mascots, where respect is not just an abstract value but a lived practice in schools, sports, and daily life. Her fight also highlighted the intersection between pop culture and real life. For years, entertainment industries normalized the use of the word midget and caricatures of little people. But just because something was once considered acceptable does not mean it should remain so. Arnold emphasized that society evolves, and part of that evolution involves recognizing when traditions have crossed into harmful territory. As the debate continued, it became clear that Arnold's advocacy was making a difference. Schools began announcing task forces, students drafted petitions, and conversations about inclusivity in mascots expanded beyond one community. Her fight became symbolic of a larger cultural shift, one in which voices that were once ignored are finally being heard. For Arnold, the outcome is less about personal recognition and more about ensuring a better environment for children. She does not want the next generation of little people or any marginalized group to feel that their identity is something to be mocked or trivialized. She envisions schools as places where diversity is celebrated, where mascots unite rather than divide, and where words like midget are recognized for what they are: derogatory and outdated. The story of Jen Arnold's fight against the midget mascot is ultimately about more than just one school or one word. It is about the responsibility of institutions to reflect the values of respect and inclusion. It is about parents, teachers, and students learning to question traditions that cause harm. And most importantly, it is about one woman using her platform to speak up, not for herself alone, but for everyone who has ever been made to feel small in a world that should value them as equals. Her message is simple yet powerful: change is possible, respect is necessary, and no one deserves to be reduced to a mascot. By fighting this fight, Jen Arnold continues to remind us that real progress happens when we listen, learn, and choose compassion over convenience. For the Kleins, Christmas has never been about grandeur or lavish displays. The essence of the season for them has always been in the small moments: the twinkle of lights on a tree, the aroma of homemade cookies, the laughter shared over playful antics, and the comfort of being together. Every year, the family crafts their traditions with care, ensuring that each child feels included and that the holiday holds a sense of magic that is both timeless and unique to their family. This year, they approach the season with even greater intention, pouring thoughtfulness into every detail, from decorations to gifts, from holiday meals to shared experiences. The preparation began weeks in advance. Bill, known for his humor, charm, and ability to turn any situation into an adventure, took the lead in decorating the home. He approached the task with enthusiasm, balancing creativity with his playful nature. While untangling strands of Christmas lights, he would make the children laugh with jokes and silly songs, turning what could have been a mundane chore into a source of delight. Every ornament on the tree told a story. Some were keepsakes from previous years, each with a memory attached. Others were handmade by Will and Zoey, their creations a testament to youthful creativity and the simple joy of making something with love. There were also ornaments gifted by friends and family, each symbolizing connection, gratitude, and shared experiences. The tree became a living tapestry of memories, and the process of decorating it was just as meaningful as the final display. Jen Arnold, with her nurturing spirit and meticulous attention to detail, complemented Bill's exuberance perfectly. She orchestrated much of the holiday magic, from planning the meals to organizing the crafts and activities that would engage the children. She guided Will and Zoey through baking sessions, teaching them recipes passed down through generations, while also encouraging them to experiment and create their own culinary masterpieces. She read holiday stories to them in the evenings, fostering imagination, curiosity, and the joy of storytelling. Every activity was infused with intention, with Jen ensuring that the children not only enjoyed the season but also understood its deeper significance: the importance of kindness, gratitude, and cherishing time spent with loved ones. Will, now entering his teenage years, played a unique role in this year's holiday celebrations. Thoughtful and introspective, he created personalized gifts for each family member, putting time and care into every detail. For his mother, he crafted a card filled with heartfelt messages and memories that reflected their bond. For his father, he made a small handcrafted item that symbolized shared adventures and inside jokes that only they understood. Even for his sister Zoe, he designed a colorful piece of art that captured her energy and creativity. His actions were a reminder that the joy of giving can be just as profound as the joy of receiving, and that thoughtfulness and effort can make the simplest gift feel extraordinary. Zoe, with her vibrant energy and enthusiasm, brought liveliness to every aspect of the holiday preparations. She eagerly participated in decorating, helping to hang ornaments, string lights, and craft homemade decorations. Her laughter and playful spirit created an atmosphere of light-hearted fun, and her eagerness to contribute reminded the family of the beauty of experiencing the holiday through the eyes of a child. Zoe's curiosity and imagination transformed ordinary tasks into moments of wonder, whether she was helping mix ingredients for cookies or deciding where each ornament should be placed on the tree. Her joy was infectious, and her excitement made the entire holiday season feel magical. As Christmas morning approached, anticipation in the Klein household was palpable. The children could hardly sleep, their excitement building as the night stretched on. When morning finally arrived, the family gathered around the tree, and the children's eyes sparkled with delight at the sight of gifts arranged beneath it. Each present represented thought, love, and the effort invested by the giver. Bill and Jen watched their children with pride and happiness, knowing that the real gifts were not the objects themselves, but the love, care, and attention that had gone into choosing and preparing them. The morning was filled with laughter, hugs, and excitement as gifts were unwrapped. Will and Zoe expressed their gratitude in their own ways, with Will offering heartfelt thanks and Zoe squealing with delight at each surprise. Bill and Jen made sure to encourage their children to reflect on the thought behind each gift, emphasizing that the true value lay in the sentiment and connection rather than material worth. Even the smallest tokens, a handmade ornament, a simple card, or a piece of artwork, became treasures because they represented love, attention, and the bonds that held the family together. Later in the day, the family came together for the holiday feast, a carefully prepared meal that reflected both tradition and creativity. Jen had spent hours planning the menu, balancing family favorites with new dishes that added excitement and variety. The table was filled with vibrant colors, rich aromas, and flavors that brought comfort and delight. Bill helped set the table, adding touches of whimsy and humor, while the children eagerly assisted in small tasks, proud to contribute. The dinner was more than just a meal. It was a time of connection, conversation, and reflection. The family shared stories from the past year, expressed gratitude for one another, and discussed hopes and dreams for the year ahead. Each laugh, each story, and each moment of togetherness deepened the bonds within the family, reinforcing the importance of shared experiences over material possessions. What made this Christmas particularly remarkable was the way it highlighted the family's values: love, resilience, and unity. Having faced challenges in the past, the Kleins approached the holiday with hearts full of appreciation for what truly mattered. They focused on being present for one another, celebrating not just the holiday itself, but the privilege of spending time together, supporting one another, and creating lasting memories. Every activity, every laugh, every embrace reinforced the central message of the season: family is the greatest gift of all. As the day progressed, Bill injected his signature humor into the celebration. He dressed as Santa Claus, complete with a jolly voice and playful antics, delighting Will and Zoe. The children laughed until their cheeks hurt, their joy echoing through the house. This simple act of silliness reminded the family that Christmas is not just about traditions and rituals, but also about finding joy in the moment and creating happiness through shared laughter. Even the adults found themselves caught up in the playful energy, appreciating the light-hearted spirit that Bill brought to the holiday. The family spent the afternoon engaging in activities that brought them closer together. They played board games, sang holiday songs, and shared stories that had become annual traditions. Bill and Jen encouraged the children to reflect on the significance of giving, expressing gratitude, and spreading kindness. They also took time to remember loved ones who were no longer with them, honoring their memory and incorporating them into the celebration. This combination of fun, reflection, and connection made the holiday experience richer and more meaningful, reinforcing the lessons that the Kleins hoped to instill in their children. In the evening, as